Brown's gas, by definition, from George Wiseman, who's probably the authority on it at this point in time, with the death of Eel Brown, by definition is the total mixture of gases coming from an electrolyzer that's specifically designed not to separate the gases. So you have a electrolyzer making or disassociating water, and you have one conduit out, and in that conduit you have, the H2O in its gaseous form.
Okay. So when you mean dissociate, you mean it splits oxygen from hydrogen, but the hydrogen is still H2 then, or?
The thought is that the Brown's gas is a mixture of hydrogen, oxygen, both in its monatomic and diatomic forms, and water vapor, and the electrons through the electrolysis process are also transferred with that into the gas. And that is quite evident as you apply the gas onto objects that, there's definite electron flow.
Yeah, is this the same gas that runs the welder? Because there was a welder video clip, it was like I think it was like a Channel 6 Nevada news clip or something like that. And a fellow had this welder that people were saying was Brown's gas, but they actually said it was just another form of water. And they said it was HOH instead of H2O.
Yeah. By the definition I've previously given, it's all Brown's gas, but there may be different qualities of Brown's gas depending on your electrolyte, depending on depending on the technology you use, a pulse current, a straight, brute force current. So there may be different qualities of the Brown's gas, but basically it's all Brown's gas. Some people may want to call it something else for their marketing purposes, or Brown's gas, there's a lot of misinformation as well as good information.
Yeah.
And so to sort it out, maybe for their marketing, they've chosen a different name.
Well, one of the claims that they made about theirs, and I have no idea if it's accurate or not, they had some footage on TV that was pretty impressive, but it said that one of the properties of this gas was the heat of the flame depended on what it came in contact with.
I'd say that's probably a myth.
Okay.
From my understanding and my playing around with it, the temperature flame, ambient flame, like if you were passed your hand through it or just tried to hold your hand aside of it, it's quite low. It's like 259 degrees. However, you have a hydrogen flame there. Hydrogen can burn very hot, but at the same time you get results, and I think it's due to the electron passing through the gas as well.
Oh, okay.
Because you can take a tungsten rod and you can sublimate it, or melt it, or
I think they had the same. They described the same thing. He put his hand through it. And he said, "See, he's like, you can't hold it there, but you can pass your hand through."
Right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that with acetylene or something like that. But this gas is, it's doesn't pollute like acetylene or propane. It's a very clean, environmentally friendly gas, and so it has its place. Probably the most feasible market that's really readily available is the cutting gas market. But there's also a lot of people making small Brown's gas machines for fuel enhancement, which, because of the nature of the gas, it helps the carbon-based fuels burn more efficiently.
Okay.
And so people are able to get more power, less pollution.
Oh, Brown's gas in the vehicle then, you mean?
Yeah, like Brown's gas in a combustion engine. Not as its sole source of fuel, but only as an enhancer of the fuel they already have to lessen pollution and increase efficiency of the fuel.
Well, now in terms of, I guess in terms of using this in a vehicle, is this similar to the Joe Cell? Is the Joe Cell Brown's gas device, or is that something different?
I don't have enough understanding of the Joe Cell to really, speak anything on that. So
okay.
It could be similar. I mean, it's still using water, but I don't know the concept. What are they tapping into to change their water?
Well, with your own work, what has your focus been with Brown's gas? I mean, are you looking mostly at kind of the cutting torch type?
My involvement is hobby more at this time, just for fun. And when I was a little boy, my dad said someday they'd drive cars with water. So I've always had that in the back of my mind. You know, this is just one step towards that. Perhaps maybe someday they will. Right
okay.
now, I mean, there's rumors and stories, but right now it's not really economically viable. I believe they probably could if they wanted to spend enough money on it. But in order to have something for mankind to use, the place to start is enhancing what we already have, and with further research, maybe we'll find better ways to do it.